My name is Matthew Feldmann, and I built this AT-AT walker over here. You can kind of see the scale. This is the Lego set that was released in 2014, and then our giant mock. We built this actually 2 years ago, and we took this. This was our first ever project that we, presented here at Nebraska Brick Days, and I think if I were to guesstimate, it has around 6,000 pieces or so, and you can see the sheer scale of it compared to the Lego set. But
when you decided to scale up the build to this massive size, what part of the build did you start with that kind of dictated the overall scale then that you were going for?
Pretty much I just started with the head because that's the most recognizable part of the AT-AT walker, and once I figured out how big I wanted the head to be, I sort of just looked at the Lego model, and also I had this plastic model that I had as a kid that sort of made me decide what scale I wanted, and I just sort of tried to make everything proportional as they did, with the Lego set, and then also looked at reference models from, the movies and reference pictures and stuff like that. Gave me an excuse to watch the movies a couple more times because, Empire Strikes Back is one of my favorites. But yeah, just tried to get all the details correct and proportions as correct as I could. The most difficult part was probably attaching the head, because the head, actually has a lot of weight to it, and then trying to attach that to the actual body without it toppling over. So we had to add a counterweight in the middle of it, and then connect the neck with a bunch of Technic pieces and stuff like that. So that was pretty complicated, but in the end it all worked out, and the head can even swivel a little bit, but yeah, just to add that function.
It looks like the bases that the feet are on here look pretty hefty there. So what are those connections like? That's got to be pretty strong to hold this whole thing up.
Actually, well, the feet themselves, I just used a bunch of those snot bricks to get that circular, shaping, and then actually on each of the legs, they're each connected by 4 studs on each leg. That's it. I swear, it is not that stable at all. I mean, the legs are pretty stable. We reinforced it with some Technic, but the actual connection from the legs to the feet is only 4 studs on each leg. So it's not the most stable in the world. But yeah, I don't know how else we could have done that, with the weird arch-shaped connection that it has, but. Yeah,
as long as nobody touches it, you'll be fine.
Exactly, yeah.
Is there an interior at all in this one?
There is not an interior. It's pretty much just like the Star Destroyer, just all Technic, reinforcement. But, we thought about trying to add an interior, but it just, would have been too much. We didn't really have a whole lot of space to work with on the inside, because it was all just Technic reinforcement, but.
So with a build like this, then you're kind of just building these large panels and essentially attaching them to that structure.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what we thought the easiest would be, and also give the best look. As you can see, there's a lot of discolored gray pieces, and that's because we started building this and I just used the pieces from my collection. So we kind of just were working with what I had, because this was 2.5 years ago when we started building this. And we've thought about completely redoing all the paneling to make it look all, smooth and, less studs on the sides of it. But, that's just what we were working with. And then, we did make a couple Bricklink orders, for the legs and for the head and stuff like that. But yeah, we were just kind of working with my own collection. But
those shades of gray give it that realistic, gritty look to the build.
Yeah, that's what somebody actually said the last convention. They came up and they were like, oh yeah, I like how you did the weathering with that. And I was like, that was not planned at all, but I guess it works.
Well, it's certainly very impressive here, and seeing the kit next to it just really shows how big you made this here. So I'm glad you could bring it out to the show. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.